Blades replacement. When working with a cutter system, be careful with the sharp parts and do not adjust the system with the machine and run mode. Necessary tools: 1 ruler, 5 mm Allen extension, 8 and 11 mm line wrench, 17 and 19 mm socket wrench, torque wrench, 10 to 40 foot-pound. Necessary parts: 1 rotary blade, 1 stationary blade, 4 spring washers, paper sheets, labels. Step 1. Press the E-stop button located on the operator panel. Step 2. Remove the cutter cover. Loosen the bottom screw by using an 8 mm wrench, and remove the top screw by using an 11 mm wrench. Step 3. Remove the rotary blade. Remove the 7 screws using a 5 mm Allen wrench, starting from the middle one, and progressing outwards to both ends of the blade. Remove the 7 Allen screws using the 5 mm Allen wrench, and remove the blade. Caution: be careful to not drop the blade. Step 4. Clean the rotary blade area. Clean the seat and clamping surfaces of all foreign matter. Step 5. Install the rotary blade. Insert the new rotary blade, and tighten all screws starting from the middle one, and progressing outwards to the upper and lower edges of the blade. Check the final torque on the rotary blade using a torque wrench. The recommended torque is 10 foot-pound. Step 6. Remove the stationary blade. Unscrew the 4 hex head screws on the stationary blade using a 17 mm socket wrench. Remove the stationary blade by removing the 4 hex head screws and the clamp plate. Step 7. Clean the stationary blade area. Clean the seat and clamping surfaces of all foreign matter. Step 8. Align the stationary blade angle. Align the stationary blade angle by measuring the gap between the front and the back edge of the stationary blade shaft. Front and back should have equal distance. Use the 19 mm socket wrench to adjust the proper distance. Step 9. Unscrew the 4 stationary blade aligning set screws. Unscrew the 4 aligning set screws at least 3 full turns, using the 5 mm Allen extension. Step 10. Install the stationary blade. Insert the new stationary blade in the clamp. Replace all 4 spring washers. Lightly tighten the 4 hex head screws to fix the blade using the clamp plate. Step 11. Make sure that the blades are not touching. Manually rotate the cutter to check if the blades are touching. Warning: if the blades are touching, it will be necessary to go back to step 9. But it is not necessary to remove the blades. Just back up the stationary blade. Step 12. Apply initial torque on the stationary blade. Tighten all the 4 hex head screws using a torque wrench. The recommended initial torque is 10 foot-pound. Step 13. Align the stationary blade. Caution: this is a very precise setup. Move the adjustment set screws in very small increments, and check after each increment if the blade edges are touching. Use the 5 mm Allen extension wrench to bring the stationary blade edge close to the rotary blade edge, and adjust the top and bottom aligning set screws. Step 14. Check if the blades are touching. Manually rotate the cutter to check if the blades are touching. Warning: if the blades are touching, it will be necessary to go back to step 9. But it is not necessary to remove the blades. Just back up the stationary blade. Step 15. Check the blade's alignment using a piece of paper. Insert a piece of paper between the blades, and manually rotate the cutter until the rotary blade oversteps the stationary blade. In this example, the cutter is not cutting the paper on the bottom. In this case, it will be necessary to tighten the bottom set screw with very small increments until it cuts. Step 16. Check the final cut. Check again if the label is being cut on the top, middle and bottom of the blades. Step 17. Apply final torque to the stationary blade. Carefully apply final torque to the stationary blade. The recommended torque is 40 pounds-feet. Step 18. Check the label cut again. Caution: the blades should not be making a distinct knocking sound with no label present. Warning: if the blades are making a distinct knocking sound, it will be necessary to go back to step 9. But it is not necessary to remove the blades. Just back up the stationary blade. Step 19. Lightly tighten the middle adjusting set screws. Lightly tighten the middle set screws in small increments, until the screw touches the stationary blade. Any additional tightening can compromise the blade position. Step 20. Install the cutter cover. Install the cutter cover and tighten the bottom screw by using an 8 mm wrench, and the top screw by using an 11 mm wrench. Final note: once the blades are adjusted, the micro-adjust dial should not be touched in order to avoid changing the cut angle. From time to time, if it's necessary to adjust the blades, tighten in small increments the adjusting set screws to maintain the label cut.